witnesses for coming today and making yourselves available. So often we're here in public accounts talking about value for money, but I'd like to touch on maybe a possible breach of sensitive data. So my line of questioning will start with Mr. Hayes. How serious is it that the citizenship or IRCC allowed McKinsey consultants to access its network without proper security clearance? This hasn't been a one-off problem. There's been a clear trend across government contracting, including the Arrive scam scandal. Does this show that there's been a breakdown in safeguarding sensitive government systems and citizens' data?
Thank you for the question. From our perspective as Auditor General, we want to see the rules followed in every case. And one of the fundamental controls, both in terms of security of government information and protection of confidential information and privacy, is to have security clearances in place before access is given to government servers, networks, et cetera. In this case, we identified that there were 5 individuals that had access to IRCC's network without a valid security clearance. I will say that when IRCC became aware of that, they stopped the access right away, but that should be something that is identified up front and controlled up front.
Thank you. I do agree with you, and that's why it's very concerning when someone like me who's new in Parliament, that we would have, the general public would assume that these procedures are in place to safeguard people's data, not only when alarm bells start ringing. But thank you for your answer. My next question would be for Mr. Kochar. Am I pronouncing that right, sir? Kochar? Kochar. Sorry about that. Thank you, sir. The report found that 5 McKinsey consultants were granted IRCC networks access without valid security clearances. Who approved this access, and what systems or data were exposed?
Mr. Chair, to my knowledge, there was a situation where their security clearances were pending and they were given access, but they received the security clearance, but in between that time, that they did not have that security clearance. They did actually have access to the data. None of the data, Mr. Chair, is actually shared or is on any other McKinsey kind of domain. It always remains on our network, and they can have access, but they cannot copy or transfer it anywhere. So that might be
understood. Thanks for that answer. But it doesn't. It actually now has. I've gotten another question. So what you've said is that they've applied for security clearance, were okay to start working without a clearance, then they got their clearance. Now, I understand that all the systems stay on your system, but you have 5 people from McKinsey that have access to sensitive data that weren't cleared yet, that had access to that data. So again, my question, which is actually more concerning, that protocol broke down because they applied for it and nobody could wait till they got it for them to start working, based on your answer. So again, who approved the access and what systems and data were exposed? Now, if there's something that you can't say in camera because it's sensitive, I do understand that on what was exposed, but what could be exposed?
I would be guessing what would be exposed onto that, because I wasn't really, I am not sure what they were, but to my knowledge, it was about the work which we were doing were actually allowing them an insight into how we do our processing in terms of getting them to understand our way of processing the applications, and then from which they could find efficiencies by leaning the process or by using digital tools.
If you allowed 5 people, not you personally, sir, but if the IRCC allowed 5 people to access that type of data into the processing of immigration, I view that as highly sensitive data. That means that data could have gone out and people could be jigging the system to get into Canada. Am I correct in saying that?
Mr. Chair, I think that is a little bit of an extrapolation. What I am trying to say is what we actually do in processing is sometimes to give them an idea. So, for example, I'm just using an example for training purposes. We would actually do have trainees to come in and look at some of the applications which we have already processed just for in that case. I am not privy to the details, Mr. Chair, if I may, but I actually do believe that it wasn't something which I would say was a data which was taken away. It stayed on our system.
You can't guarantee that, though, correct, sir?
I cannot speak about that.
I do thank you
I'm afraid-
for your honest answers. Thank you, sir.
That is your time.